Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Interact podcast. My name is Josh Haynam, co-founder and CEO at Interact. Today, I'm joined by Demi Fair, owner at Trust Your Gut. You have a very cool quiz funnel that we were just talking about before we hit record. Basically, it helps you diagnose, or not exactly diagnose, but like in some way, like find out if your gut problems are related to your nervous system. I thought it was extremely well done, which is why I wanted to ask you onto the podcast. So if you want to start there and tell us like where this idea came from, how you put that quiz together, and just like how it functions, I think that'd be really helpful. And I'm curious too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, without going into like so many detail about, the work that I do in the gut health world, and I focus primarily on the gut brain connection and issues of that, which are like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome is an issue of the gut brain connection. When and I was a sufferer of IBS for like 30 years, so I know the world very, very well of gut healing. So when you go to get support for your gut health, you're kind of run through a lot of the same kind of like diets and protocols that many people I was finding in my work with clients and from my own experience just weren't getting help from. And, this is a long story, but I ended up discovering in my own healing journey and through my training and work with clients initially in nutrition that there is such a foundational link to the nervous system when it comes to gut issues, especially things like IBS. And this is something that people just aren't super familiar with, or it's now just starting to become more familiar with in the gut healing world. So, as you know, I started to do this business and create content and really try to educate people and change their mind on this and help them understand how important the nervous system really is when it comes to healing their gut. I was thinking of something that I could offer that might be more personalized to them, that might be a really big aha, and could offer a bit of that education and also give me a lot of great information on the back end for my business and help build my email list and help build my audience. And so I knew quizzes performed really well. I love quizzes. Through my research and marketing, I know that people love quizzes. They love things that are personalized to them. They love learning more about themselves and having something where it's hands off for me after it's all created, but they can gain a little bit of that personalization is amazing. So as I was sitting with what I might want to do for a quiz, this became clear to me that, wow, what a great thing where someone is going to be probably really intrigued by that. Like, what do you mean my nervous system state might be causing my gut issues? They answer these questions that can help them identify, hey, you're likely to be spending most of your time in this state. And then I go and break it down as like, these are the physical symptoms you'd experience. Here's the emotional, here's the mental, and here's the digestive. And if that resonates with them, which most of it always does for people, because I ask them, they go, oh my, that is me. Okay. And it's just this like mind blowing thing for them. And then I'm able to offer them a little bit of my expertise, a little bit of the tools I use, which helps nurture them into potentially wanting to work with me.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like how you laid that all out, where it's like it's introducing the idea and then it begins the conversation. And then that's also connecting through to potentially working with you. Uh, just on a practical level, what email software do you have it connected to? And what kind of emails do you send people if they become a lead through the quiz?
Yeah, so I have been running as much as I can through Kajabi.
Hmm.
So I run most of my emails through there. So I have my quiz linked, and I'll start like I run an ad to this quiz. So I run
Mm.
ads to it. And then I also have conversations when I do a CTA on my content in my Instagram. It's usually either going to the quiz or another, free resource that I have. And so I'm getting people signing up through both paid and organic for the quiz. It's connected to my Kajabi. I put them into a welcome sequence. So everyone goes through the same email sequence after they get their results to continue nurturing them. And then, of course, they go into my main, email list after that.
That's really cool. What do the ads look like? Are they kind of representation of the quiz? Are you touching on a different topic on the ads? Like, how does that look?
Yeah, I created a specific ad for the quiz where I feel like a lot of my content really focuses on like busting the myths around gut healing or just really trying to shift someone's perspective and help them kind of go, wait, what? What do you mean? Like, this is maybe the most important thing or the missing piece here. Um, I honestly, right now, can't remember exactly what my current ad to the quiz content is
That's
because
a
it's
good
been
thing.
running for years. It
That's a
is a good
very
thing.
good thing.
Like, I don't have
That
to think
never
about it.
happens with
It's just
ads.
running, it's succeeding, you know. Um,
Wow.
so that that is going to be just something that kind of catches their attention, you know, calls out my ideal client, someone who's been, you know, struggling with IBS likely for a long time, who has tried a lot of the things already. Most of my people have tried all the things that have been recommended by doctors, practitioners, by the internet, whatever. And I kind of just bust a little bit of that belief in there of like, that's why this isn't working. And then it kind of just naturally leads to them going like, I want to know more. How do I know more about the nervous system in my state? And, you know, I say that in the ad of like, this quiz will help you understand which state of your nervous system you're likely spending the most time in and how it's connected to the symptoms you're experiencing. So people, of course, are like, well, what? I would need to know that.
I like this. I mean, this all sounds so good. How does it work for the business? Like, does it drive good results for the business as far as like actually, contributing to the top line, the bottom line, all that kind of good stuff?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a great top of funnel thing for me. It gets people into my world, into my email list. So it's definitely been an email list builder for me over the last couple of years. It's also a great conversation starter. So if somebody asks for these resources in my comments, right? My many chat will automatically send the link to them. And then I follow up and ask, hey, what results did you get? Did they resonate with you? And it's a conversation starter. So then I'm able to answer their questions, or maybe they want to know more and it really resonates. And then we hop on a call and maybe they become a client. So I still utilize it to have conversations, to help people get a little bit of insight and then continue from there to see what questions they have. Does this make sense? Um, I think I am right now trying to redo my welcome sequence. I want to make it even better, see if I could potentially even get people onto calls right from the quiz and the welcome sequence. I will say it's probably my welcome sequence that isn't performing super well, but I'd love to see this not only bring people into my world and start conversations, but potentially be something where after they get these results and get a couple emails, they might say, oh yeah, I want to book a call with you and learn more about how to work with you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we've been seeing that kind of both extend and shorten, meaning like the welcome sequences tend to be longer these days. People are taking a little more time to make their decisions, but then also within that, a lot of folks are doing like a very right up front like offer, like jump
Yeah.
on a call or buy something that's like kind of cheap. So you kind of like
Yeah.
doing both. So that all sounds great. I like the conversational aspect of it. I think it's a really powerful thing, especially today. Like content's still hard to make, but with AI, there's just a lot more content, and it's just kind of like sometimes hard to tell what's real and what's not. And so, doing something like what you've done, it is very authentic. Like the questions of your quiz, you wouldn't know to ask those questions unless you had a deep expertise in this area, or like you said, like you've experienced it yourself too. um, what do you think about that? As far as like with AI coming on the scene, there's content's getting created, left and right now. There's so much of it, like how articles about IBS or articles about gut health. Like it's just a massive glut of them. Um, and then you have something like what you've built that feels very different and very human in a way. I don't know if you have thoughts on that.
Mhm. That's a great question, and something I think a lot of like online business owners and creators are going to be having to deal with and think about a lot more and talking to each other about. So I appreciate you bringing that up because um, I the way I kind of do a lot of my content, I'm a talker. I love just hopping on a video and talking and being showing my face, and I think people really like that more authentic, not super polished thing these days given AI. But you bring up a good point with this quiz is like I think quizzes again, that personalization piece. And it's, it's not perfect. Like most people tell me the results resonate with them, but again, it's 10 questions. It's not going to take in that person's whole health and life history and know everything. So sometimes it may not fully resonate, but it offering that little bit of personalization where they're able to hear something that is kind of geared towards them and has a little bit more of that conversational aspect. You and I were talking about how my results page just feels really conversational. It's like, hey, here's your results. Like, this is what this means. This is what this looks like for you. Like, here's your next steps. Like, and let me summarize this. I think people are going to be looking for more of that authentic, genuine, more conversational kind of support and content. And I feel like quizzes are a really great place to offer that moving
Yeah,
forward.
and it kind of like, if in the analogy of like talking, right? Like kind of handing the mic over to the quiz taker, like the person that's taking your quiz, asking them questions. They get a chance to talk. And then you're talking at the end where you're giving the results, you're giving kind of some ideas and suggestions of things to work on. But it's in the context of what they told you. So it's like it's more individualized, personalized to their situation. It's not like a broad like here's the steps that everybody can take. It's like here's the steps that
Yeah.
you can take. And it's also like this is an interesting thing that we found. So I'm curious your reaction on this. People prefer the quiz even if it's not exactly accurate all the time, like you're mentioning, like sometimes it's not exactly the right result. They prefer that over an AI chatbot that might tell them something that's like super unique to their situation, but it's an AI. So they
Yeah.
prefer the human version where the human is giving the results, even if you can't afford to give like 1,000 different results. So it's not going to be exactly perfect for everybody. They still like that better than the AI telling them something. Curious your reaction to that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I think people are becoming um, much more sensitive to AI. And
Mm-hmm.
like, hey, I use ChatGPT for a lot of things. It really supports me in a lot of efficiency in my work and whatnot. But, you can't really replace that true human kind of connection and that true human support. And I think it's important that people are discerning about that. Like moving forward, sometimes I get a little concerned about what might happen with AI and what that might do to us as humans. And so I think it's really great that that's interesting to know people prefer something that is maybe not even totally accurate to them, but just more human versus like maybe asking an AI bot and having something really personalized because hey, I've seen how many times ChatGPT messes up on something and I'm like, what? And so I think it's really important to be discerning about that. And here's the thing too, if like, you know, you can ask an AI chatbot questions, the most they can do is just answer your questions. And it may feel accurate, it may not. You go through like a quiz where you get something a little bit personalized to you, maybe most of it kind of resonates. You see me in the videos, or like me, my voice comes through the videos explaining, that, oh, this person who's created this, like they know this stuff well. They've helped themselves, they've helped others. So they feel there's like just like this different level of support there. And there's more opportunity for support because now, again, if following up with you in the DM asking how it went, now you have an opportunity to get supported by me a little bit further, or maybe even take it that next step and come to my masterclass, or work with me. And that offers so much more than just an AI chatbot can give you, you know?
Right. Yeah, you can pull in all these things that you know, and the word that I was thinking of as you were talking there is story. Like, you can tell your story as
Yeah,
you're giving advice. And then it's also weaving in the story of the person taking the quiz, because now you have the answers that they gave and you kind of know a little bit of their story. So it's like, they're the hero, they're the hero of this journey that's, solving for their gut health. But you're also like the expert guide that can come alongside, and you can tell them why you're an expert guide. The expert guide in any good story can't just be this nebulous being that knows everything. They have to have a story of how they went through the same problem as the hero and they solved it. And so
yeah,
you that's what I was hearing as you're talking. I think that is it seems like that's a huge missing piece of AI. Like, there is no story, and even if it makes up a story, it's not a real story, and so it doesn't
totally,
feel right. Like, it doesn't sit right in your
totally,
gut. Going back to gut.
totally, absolutely. Yeah, that's such an, I mean, I think that's something that my clients appreciate about me is I've been where they have been. Like,
Yeah.
I have this, what I call embodied wisdom. Not only have I been trained in and studied these things, but like I lived through it as well. And I think that people are looking for that. They want to know that whoever is supporting them really truly understands, especially a lot of my people who have been gaslit by doctors and not listened to and not understood. They just want to feel understood, seen, and heard. I think that's what all humans want. And as someone who works in the nervous system field, co-regulating, right? The way that it feels when we're even on a video, the way that my nervous system can help co-regulate someone else's nervous system, or even if it's not in a video, but maybe I'm sending you a voice note or we're having a conversation, there is this human to human co-regulation thing going on that we're just not going to ever get from AI. Truly, that is so important. So
Yeah, that's a very good point. And you can I think you can access some of that with a quiz. It's not as deep as a conversation, but also you don't have time to have a conversation with every single person, or maybe somebody's wanting to chat with you when you're not online. And
yeah,
so having the quiz there as at least an intro, which maybe the quiz then intros them to have a full conversation with you, but it's also going to weed out the folks that like take the quiz and then maybe they see what it costs to actually work with you and they don't want to do that, but then that saves you time and it saves them time. It's better for
absolutely.
everybody. It's like a filter in a way.
Absolutely. And, they still get some helpful information, and tools. Like I offer some tools in here that someone could take and use and really help themselves with. Like it just scratches the surface, of course, but it is something that, like, not everyone is going to be the right fit to work with me. I can't work with everyone anyways, and not everyone will be willing or able to invest. So, I still like being able to offer something that can help people, right? And something that they can take and work with a little bit.
Yeah, and that's something that I found with a lot of our customers. I don't know if it's unique to the people that opt in to use quizzes, but the number one thing that everybody says that they like about being a business owner, about being a marketer or whatever role they're in, is helping people.
Yeah,
And I like that you just mentioned that. The quiz can be a helper that's on 24/7. And
yeah,
so whenever anybody wants to come through, you have something there that can be helpful to them. I think that's really nice.
absolutely. And,
Yeah.
something too, this might be jumping topics, but I want to speak to it before I forget. It's like if
Yeah.
you design your quiz really strategically, it gives you a lot of good information as a business owner. Like
Yeah, you
seeing
mentioned
what
that.
results people get the most of. And when I find out if it resonates with them, it's like that helps me understand what most people are dealing with in my audience, even if, or if it's someone I'm talking to, or maybe they're interested in working with me and I know what their quiz results are. Now I could talk to them and find out all this stuff without knowing their quiz, but now I already have more information, on them. But just that data that you collect of like the people who are seeing your stuff and your audience and going here, they're getting mostly this result is the number one result. Okay, maybe that helps me inform what kind of content to create, right? Or what kind of things people might be needing for other free resources or other offers that I could put out there. So, and even on, I don't know if you saw this on my landing page for my quiz results, I have this little pop-up that asks a question. I collect even more data on there to find out what people are struggling with, which informs me how to continue making sure my messaging is really reflecting the problems and desires people are dealing with.
Yeah, that's so powerful. It's like you're finding common ground at like a broad level of like what are
Yeah.
people going through, like what are the trends, and then also at a granular level of like the individual people who put in their leads. And yeah, I mean the Interact analytics platform is
Yeah.
massive. Like it gives you all the data, which is crazy powerful. And I'm glad that you brought that up because it doesn't get used enough. And especially these days, like I feel like more and more the data is being like abstracted away. It's harder and harder to understand like what it is that people want or why they came to you. Like it's getting more difficult, and the cookieless world is what people like to call it. But really it's just
Mm.
like you have to you have to earn the data now. You can't just like get it. And so I think it's great that you brought that up. That's very, very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this has been super helpful. Thank you for going behind the scenes on this. I think anybody listening has a great picture of how to implement something in their business that follows kind of some of these trends. Where can people go to take your quiz, or if they are listening and they're like, actually, I need this to go work with you? Um, where are those options? Yeah, I would imagine
um
that actually happens to you a lot where you like are talking about something else and then somebody's like, oh, actually, my gut.
oh oh yeah, no, like anytime I tell people what I do, they're like, oh, I need that, or I know someone who needs that.
Yep.
It's very common. So the actual like link that I have directly to the quiz will be too long to share here. I don't know if you have show notes, but we can definitely link that down
Yeah.
there. But my website has everything on it, right? Or my
Yep.
Instagram, you can find a link in bio, to the quiz. Or if you go to my website, I have the quiz posted all over there. So my website is just trustyourguthealth.com. And then my Instagram is at trustyourgut.health. So either of those have just more information about the work that I do, but also we'll have the link to the quiz there.
Perfect. Perfect. Awesome. We'll put all that in the show notes so anybody can
Cool.
go click on those links. But yeah, I appreciate your time and for sharing all this with us. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was really awesome to be invited and to chat about my quiz. So thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Alrighty.